And on residential streets, they're worried the planned Western Distributor will see more trucks using rat runs to avoid paying tolls.
Is the tunnel good for our neighbourhood? And no, it won't be without 24/7 truck bans to force trucks to use it.
The Premier's promised to take a look at the situation when the $5.5 billion project is finished.
Residents in the western suburbs have had enough of trucks on their streets.
How pleasant is this intersection when it isn't full of 7,000 trucks a day?
The state government has a $5.5 billion plan for the Western Distributor road link to divert trucks off the Westgate Bridge. But locals aren't convinced and want them banned from residential streets.
We've got a massive problem here with trucks avoiding a toll of just $5.50 on the Balti Bridge and using our streets. So if the toll's going to be $13 on this new tunnel, we're going to continue to have this massive issue.
The Premier might be listening.
I do not rule out putting truck bans or trying to regulate the sorts of vehicles that use those local roads once the Western Distributor's built.
For a Premier to say he's not ruling anything in, he's not ruling anything out, I think communities understand these are nothing more than weasel words.
Michael.
Three Yarraville residents shut down a busy intersection this morning, calling for trucks to be kicked off residential streets. The protesters want the government to confine heavy vehicles to the new Western Distributor tunnel. More from Dougal Beattie.
In peak hour traffic, frustrated residents take over a busy Yarraville intersection.
Cut us some slack and filter the slacks.
Unfurling banners and holding placards, sending a message to get trucks off residential streets.
Basically, we just want to make sure that our kids aren't going to be growing up breathing in the diesel fumes for years to come.
They say the container trucks travelling to and from the port are a constant health risk.
These tiny particles can get down to the bottom of the lungs and then they can translocate into the bloodstream.
And are calling on them to be banned from the inner west, confined only to the government's new Western Distributor tunnel.
I think it's reasonable to expect that they would avoid the tolls and continue to rat run.
Many protesters still bristling at comments made by the roads minister yesterday.
It's fine to protest and do kumbaya with the Greens.
Labelling it a slap in the face.
They're ridiculing us. It's unacceptable.
It was such an insult because these people have worked so hard.
The Premier said he hadn't heard the minister's comments but agreed trucks should avoid local streets, although no decision will be made until after the toll road is completed.
I do not rule out putting restrictions on trucks in the inner west once we've built the Western Distributor.
The opposition also wouldn't back calls for an outright ban. Dougal Beattie, 9 News.
Back home, and Yarraville residents have stepped up their campaign for a truck ban on their streets, blocking a major intersection during the morning peak. The protesters believe the planned Western Distributor
weren't built for big B-doubles, container trucks.
Now they're concerned the tunnel promised by the Andrews government as part of the Western Distributor won't fix the problem, as trucks may continue to weave through residential streets to avoid tolls.
And if we don't have the bans, it's not really going to relieve any of the truck traffic in our area.
The Premier says he'll wait and see.
I don't rule out putting restrictions on trucks in the inner west. Distributor project built.
Parents in the inner west are also concerned that this area has the country's highest hospitalisation rate for children with respiratory issues.
Experts say diesel emissions can irritate asthma sufferers and cause lung cancer, heart attacks, strokes and stunt growth in children.
Children who grow up in highly polluted areas are found to be 4 times more likely to have health issues when they're older.